So this week we're building a shelf that's actually a closet and a bunch of other small projects to really outfit this guest room. We're the White family. We live in rural Alaska, and for us, it's DIY all day, every day. Thank you all for all the likes and the shares on our guest room snack cabinet. It turned out really well, and now we're rolling into this week where this guest room cannot possibly take another big piece of furniture. It is done. So I'm going to start working on small projects, and these are the projects that add a lot of functionality and add a lot of decor and really bring the space together. Takes it from, oh, we bought a set of furniture and we put it in a room, to the room is done. Last week, a lot of you noticed that I already got one of those little projects done. My little K-pot holder. For the Keurig drawer, this is what I used. These are all 1x2s, and you can buy a 1x2 off the shelf at the big box hardware store for about $1. You'll build 2 of these and then connect them together on the end, and then so the plywood sits on top of the 1x2 and it slides like that, and then there's a 1x2 underneath the plywood, and then you'll make 2 of those and then put a top on top of it, and that's it. Such a simple project. Oh, and you got to drill a lot of holes. That was actually a little bit time consuming. I used 1 3/4 hole saw to drill all the holes for the K-pots. I really wanted to create a drawer system with storage under the Keurig, but the problem was I didn't want something really bulky, and I definitely didn't want to be working with drawer slides or anything. So what I did on this one is I just designed it like a crate, and then the grooves in between the 1/4-inch plywood just rides right on top of it, so it's kind of like a built-in drawer slide. It works really well, and it elevates your Keurig up to a really nice height, and it's just an awesome project, and it was basically free for me to make. So I'm sharing those plans in the description below. Grab them, build it, make it, share it, because I can't wait to see how yours comes out. So I'm going to hop on to the next project. So there is one thing missing from the functionality of this room, and that's where do you put your clothes. So I'm going to work on that project right now. So for this closet, I don't want to clutter up the space. I want it to almost be like a hidden closet, but also be super easy to use. So what I'm thinking is we do like a floating shelf, like that, in that area. But on the inside of the floating shelf, and this is going to be at like 48 inches tall, there'll be dowels. This will all be hidden, and then you can put your hangers on those. So this is just going to be like a 1x4 and then a 1x8, so it'll be really narrow and not take up a lot of space and not be intrusive at all to either the design or the flow of the room. And then if you do want to unpack, there is an option to unpack, so I'm going to get going. I got the boards cut, and then I cut some smaller pieces, craig jigged them on. Alright, so the frame is done, and so I'm just going to put 1x8 on top, and I'm going to glue it and then staple it. Whenever you use nails, you should use glue. So we got a bunch of dowels cut, and we're going to put them like this and screw or nail them in place. This will be where you hang the hangers, but I'm trying to evenly space them. So finding the center here, and then I took the number of dowels that I had, divided the overall distance by that, and then I'm going to work from the center out, and then the last distance will be half, if that makes any sense. Got my glue, dowel. It seems a real shame to paint over this beautiful wood, but honestly that guest bedroom is looking really crowded, and I thought the white might be blend a little bit and not make it look so cluttered in there. When you can build furniture and projects for pennies on the dollar, you have to watch, because pretty soon you've got so much furniture you've over cluttered your spaces. So with this project I'm going to try to dial back on projects and make this almost disappear into the wall. Alright, we're going to hang it. Jacob's giving me a hand here. So a trick that Jacob taught me is you start your screws first in the shelf. That's what he's doing. So the ledge is done and it looks really fabulous. It really blends with the wall, it doesn't clutter the space more. So that works pretty good. And then I also added some hooks in here, and these are really nice for, you know, bags or even kids hanging up their coats. I can't believe this super simple ledge holds over 3 feet of closet storage, and you wouldn't even know it's there. So this floating shelf closet was a new idea for me, and honestly I just came down here and sat in the room and I was like, what needs to go on that wall? Something minimal, but it needs to have some storage for hangers, and this kind of just came to me. And I wasn't expecting it to turn out so good, but we're really happy with it. And you could really modify this in a lot of different ways, like make it deeper, so that, you know, could actually hold baskets on top instead of just gallery frames. You could use it in an entryway as a mudroom. I mean, there's just endless options for this. So I'll be sharing the plans for this one, and you get that in the description below. If you built, do share, and do show me what you did with it. So now our guests can hang up all their clothes and their bags, but what if they want to put some things on a shelf? I got an idea for that too. So I'm working on the next project in the room. We put the ledge in and it has the hangers, so that acts as a closet, but the ledge is really low profile. It's about 7¼ inches deep, so you wouldn't be able to like fold a pair of pants and set it on that ledge. So we need some sort of shelf, but we also need some sort of like clip system so we can clip like postcards that our guests can use if they want to send a postcard or maybe a thank you card. So I found these guys with a clip at a craft store, and I think they were about 99 cents each. And I'm going to nail them onto a piece of plywood. So that's what I'm doing right now. So once I get all these nailed on, I'm going to build a frame, and then it'll hinge down and turn into a shelf. Alright, so the next project is somewhere to store the mugs. And what I've got is a 1x8, and I cut it into a square, and a 1x6, and I cut that into a square. 1x3, I cut that into a square. Piece of 2x2, and I've got a knob. This is optional. And I've got some rope hooks, single ones. These were, I think, like $4 or $5 for the pack. The rest is scrap wood and scrap knobs. What I did is I took the 1x6 and I drilled a hole in the middle, and I'm going to start a screw in there. And then I also drilled a hole in the bottom of the 2x2, so you can see that. So I'm going to line that in right in the center. So I'm going to line that up. And the screw is a 3-inch screw, so it's nice and tight in there. So I'm going to square this up. Alright, now I'm going to stack this. Okay, for the top, if you want to have a knob so you can move it, the knob has to be attached first and then this piece second. So, got my hole drilled. So that'll go on top and I'll just nail that on. This mug tree is a really popular DIY project. A lot of people have already done it and it works really well. So whoever originally created this design, props to you. And I love how you can customize it so easily, and this is my take on it. So a cute project, must build. So the frame is done. I just stained it up and it matches the Be Our Guest sign. And it's a little bit bigger than the shelf insert. So normally you'd want to make this exactly the size, but in this case, I made it so there's some wiggle room. This part will hinge and turn into a shelf. That's the theory. We'll see if it works. Alright, so we're trying to figure out how to hang this on the wall so it's actually sturdy, and because the wire on the back adds a little bit of depth to it, so what I'm going to do is take some 1/4-inch plywood, cut it into some strips, and put it on the back, and we can screw through that into the wall. So then I'll sturdy everything up and it'll work perfect. So maybe Jacob will give me a hand with getting it. Do you think it needs 2 of these? Can you make me one more? And then I will do the plywood. Is it for laundry?
Oh boy.
Hold it up, please. Come down and to the right. Okay.
I would say a little bit. A little bit more. That's probably good.
Maybe my bedroom will look this good someday. I just have to move 3 kids out of the bedroom.
Yeah, we see that.
Let's say you have jeans. Those look like little kid jeans. Okay, so pull that down. That's perfect. So if I tried to do that on this shelf, you know, it'd be really tough. You could do it.
Tell me where you want this thing.
Up above the coffee maker.
Clock.
Oh, the clock?
Do one thing at a time.
Yeah, about there. Yeah, good enough. I've learned not to be too picky about stuff. Yeah, because the reality is if everything has to be perfect, not everything's going to work perfectly together. So if everything has a tiny bit of tolerance, then it all works out and looks good. And you're not as stressed. I like this.
Say that again.
We should just move down here.
Oh, look at that. Center detected.
Alright, so we got another floating shelf. It's almost the same as that one, but it's a little bit deeper, so the TV will fit on it. And we just kept the same styling. And I was thinking the best thing to go inside this would be some task lighting, which I don't have right now, so we'll add that later. But don't be disappointed, but no pull down funny business going on in this one. It's just a shelf, for reals. So it's just a 1x4 frame with a 1x10 top. So Jacob gave me a hand with hanging the last couple of projects in this room, and I can't believe it. We are done with all of the projects. We still have like some decor things to do, some bedding and smaller stuff, some basically shopping things to do. But as far as projects goes, we can put our tools away because this room is done and I can't possibly build another piece for it. So all these little projects, they added a ton to the room. It sounds kind of funny, but after the projects went in, the room actually feels bigger because the shelves make the room feel taller, and especially painting them white, it was almost like an architectural element. So definite win-win, and we burned out pretty much all of the scraps in the garage. I've got total room envy of this guest suite, and I know our guests are going to be delighted to be here, and it'll be very comfortable and very functional for them. So we appreciate you guys watching this week, and we'll see you next Monday.